But to hear those words was not easy. To have it, formally said by somebody who matters, that yes, our daughter has autism.
I have a background. I worked for the Division of Developmental Disabilities, and I worked with a lot of families with children with autism. So my mind started racing to the future and what her future was going to look like, and that I had no control over it.
Being able to teach these children and see that I could help them and help them to make friends and help them to enjoy playing with new things, that I just fell in love with being able to do that.
What's so great about behavior analysis is that it's so optimistic. When everyone else will write individuals off, we come in and we can say yes, and we actually are effective in building skills and reducing problem behaviors without relying on heavy medication.
Her mood improved, number one. Her eye contact is fantastic. She's saying words, meaningful words. She's not simply repeating words.
She's playing more appropriately, she's laughing, she's demanding what she wants, her language has improved, and we're talking in 4 months. It's been amazing.
Powerful stuff. Person behind it is Dr. Sharon A. Reeve, Executive Director, Center for Autism and Applied Behavioral Analysis, Chair and Professor of Applied Behavioral Analysis Department at Caldwell College. Good to see you, Doctor.
Good to be here.
You were having a good feeling when you were watching that video produced by our colleagues and friends at Caldwell College. Why?
It's a story of hope. It's a story of parents who were given some news that they weren't anticipating about their kids, and it was a scary place for them. And we were able to relieve some of those fears, and that's a good story.
Autism, my younger sister Michelle is very much, as you know,
yeah, I do.
Into this issue, been working in the field for a long time, so we talk about it a lot, and she tries to educate me. I'm blown away. 40,000 New Jersey students with autism. 40,000.
Yeah.
Caldwell College, a leader in this regard, with the Center for Autism and Applied Behavioral Analysis. Applied Behavioral Analysis, what is it and why is it so significant in this effort?
Kids with autism don't learn things in the way that other kids learn. So what we do in applied behavior analysis is we break down those complex pieces of information into their smallest components.
Give me an example.
So something like being able to talk, being able to look at you and have a conversation. There's so much complicated information going on. I've got to maintain eye contact. I've got to get the intonation of my voice right. I've got to have my facial expression right. My gestures need to be right. We take every component and isolate it. So we start very simply with teaching a child to look. Then we teach them to nod, and we teach them to make sounds. We teach them to use gestures. It's all taught separately. And then as they acquire those skills through lots of practice, lots of feedback, then we put it all together for them so that they're able to interact in the ways that other kids do.
How is it that a school like Caldwell, and I've been to your campus many times and interacted with your president on many occasions, how is it that a school like Caldwell, not big,
no, we're small,
has such a big reputation in this field?
You know, I think because we're a small college, we were able to accomplish a lot of things very quickly. And I think whenever you do things quickly, you catch attention by other folks. So one of the things that we did when we built the Center for Autism on the campus is we visited several other programs across the country. And there's about 15 other doctoral programs in the country. And we went to see a good handful of them to get an idea of how they structured their centers, how they structured their graduate programs. So we got to know a lot of folks during that. And when we came back and we put the program together, we stayed in touch with everyone, and it put us on a national level, which I think is it's new for Caldwell College to be on that type of level.
Are you teaching people to be teachers in this field?
We are.
And that's the really exciting part.
It is. That's
Describe
the
it.
best part of my job. You know, we talk a lot about the crisis of autism and that there are so many kids affected by autism, right? It's 40,000 right here in New Jersey. What we did is we looked at it from another perspective. That created a different type of crisis, which is we don't have enough trained professionals to help all these kids.
Hold on, that means that there are many children with autism who are slipping through the cracks. I hate to use it that way.
Less
what does
than
that mean?
10% of kids with autism right here in New Jersey are receiving effective intervention.
Hold on, less than 10%.
Less than 10% are receiving effective intervention.
Is it nationally, is it a comparable number?
Yeah.
What happens to the children who do not receive this attention, these efforts?
They get other types of education. They get education where they're able to learn, but not in the way that they could learn if they got the right type of education. You know, our goal is to teach kids to acquire sufficient skills and have them reach their full potential, interact with others, and contribute back to the community. You need good intervention to do that.
Go back to the teachers. You are training these teachers based on a certain methodology that you described before. Can you train them fast enough?
We're trying. Here's what we came up with.
Can anyone? But go ahead.
Well, you know, it's really important to teach kids one at a time, right? But if you teach them one at a time, you're just not going to get to all of them fast enough. So the motivating factor behind our graduate program at Caldwell was teach the teachers so that we can get professionals trained to be autism experts, and then they can go out and start programs, refine existing ones, and get to all of these kids and give them an opportunity to receive effective education. So that was our goal, is to train the teachers.
Where do you want them to teach? Does it matter whether they're in a public school, a private situation? No, you're shaking your head. Why doesn't it matter?
It doesn't matter. They need to be wherever the kids with autism are. In some cases,
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere, right. In some cases, it's early intervention agencies. In other cases, it's schools. In other cases, it's divisions of developmental disability. It's adult programs. It's group homes. They're everywhere. You
know, it's interesting. I'm curious about this because when I sat with Nancy Platney, your president, we started talking about, you know, I said, what are you most proud of here? And your program was talked about very early on. But I'm curious about this. I wonder, because programs are programs, but people who run those programs make them what they are. When did you know? When did you know that you wanted this to be your life's work?
I think early on. I came to Caldwell a little over 10 years ago. And before
with this
that,
in mind?
No. Okay. No, I was hired in the education department, actually. Okay. I worked in schools for kids with autism, and I worked directly with the students. And the schools that I was in, we had about 25 kids in our school, and we did great work, and it was unbelievably fulfilling. And my husband is also in the field, and we talked a lot about how do we affect change in New Jersey. You know, how do we get to all of those 40,000 kids in New Jersey? And it's about academia. It's about teaching people to be leaders in the field, to go out and create more programs, to refine existing programs. And it's not until you can get to that level of expertise that you're really going to affect change in the state and across the country. So our center served three purposes for us. One, we get to help kids. You know, that's probably the best part, right? We get to watch them have great successes. Two, we get to mentor our graduate students. That's an amazing part of our job. We get to share the passion of being successful in this field and making a difference, and that's wonderful. And going out and creating change in the state of New Jersey. And then three, our site is a center for research, and we can disseminate that research across the country, and that can affect change on a broader level.
Dr. Sharon Reeve, you should be proud of what you're doing on behalf of Caldwell, but more importantly for these children. Keep it up. You have an open invitation anytime on one-on-one.
Thank you very much.